The split stitch is a simple but super useful embroidery stitch. It creates smooth and textured lines that are perfect for lettering, outlining, and filling in objects. If you're a beginner, don't worry, I'll break it down step by step so you can stitch along with me. This is actually one of the first stitches I teach beginners because it's really useful and really easy to learn. And by the end of this tutorial, you'll have the confidence to use the split stitch in all of your embroidery projects. All right, let's get started. Or should I say, let's get stitching. We're just going to start with a simple straight line for the split stitch. So pull your needle through the back of the fabric at your starting point. Now I'm going to skip one stitch length. I'll say this is anywhere from like 1/4 of an inch to maybe a 1/2 inch, but it's just whatever looks and feels right for you. And now I'm just going to pull my needle through the back of the fabric. And now I'm going to skip a stitch length and then pull my needle through the back of the fabric. And your stitch lengths do not have to be perfectly even because, spoiler alert, they never will be and no one's ever are. Like, nothing is ever perfect. So now I am going to take my needle and I am going to put it about like halfway through our previous stitch we made. Once again, won't be perfect. And we're going to split our stitches there and then pull our needle all the way through. And that's all you do. You just skip roughly a stitch length, pull your needle through the back of the fabric, and then about halfway through your previous stitch, insert your needle back in, and then pull it all the way through. And I'm just going to repeat these steps until I get to the bottom. If you ever want your very last stitch to look like it's split too, it doesn't really matter, but some people have asked me about it. You can pull your needle through the back of the fabric at the very end like this. I'm pulling it through the same hole. You can pull your needle through and just split this stitch and then pull it back through. But you don't have to do that, totally up to you. Now I'm going to move on to doing a squiggly shape like this. So all you do from this is just pull your needle through the back of the fabric at your starting point and just skip a stitch length, pull your needle all the way through, skip a stitch length, split that last stitch, and just follow the shape of the object. So this one has a little more curves. And just like when you're doing a back stitch, the smaller stitches you use, the more detail you're going to have. And then the larger stitches you use, the less detail you're going to have. So if you're filling in an outline like this and feel like you're not maintaining enough detail, try to use smaller stitches. But the split stitch is honestly really good for doing shapes like this because they kind of hide the jaggedness of what a back stitch might look like. The split stitch is just really good for something like this because it really helps everything flow together and it just like makes it really easy. So the split stitch is really good for outlining an object or filling in an area or doing lettering. It's very forgiving. And you can kind of move the stitches or like the thread around while you're stitching to how you want it to look. This stitch would especially be good if you're filling in cursive lettering as well. It's just a very beautiful, easy stitch. Now let's fill in this really simple object using the split stitch. So what I normally like to do is one split stitch on the top and then one on the bottom, and then I like to fill it in that way. I feel like it helps keep my horizontal stitches even, but you can do whatever works for you. This is just how I do it. So I would start by filling in the top like this. So then I would go ahead and do the bottom part here. And then I like breaking things down into smaller sections, so I would do a line in the very center and then fill it in from there. But once again, there's no right or wrong. You can literally do this however you want to. This is just how my brain tells me to do it. And if you ever don't know about stitching in a straight line, you can just hold your thread like this until it feels straight enough for you, and then you can actually put your needle back in through the thread and pull it through like this. And this is actually a little wonky, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. That's what's great about this split stitch. It's like it doesn't really matter and you can't super tell. It's very forgiving because then I can kind of move the last stitch over to look a little more straight or whatever. And now I'm just gonna fill in this bottom section here. And I feel like I could use one more little stitch right here. And so I'm just gonna add one, and I'm not even gonna split it because I promise you no one will even notice. So if there's any gaps or something and you feel like you could just add one more stitch in that area, just put it in there. Nobody's gonna be able to tell. And if they can, they're looking so closely, but I really do not think anyone would be able to tell. And now I'm just gonna do the same thing with the top section here. And so right here, I feel like I want to add another one. So I'm gonna put a little one right here. And that is how you do the split stitch. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel and say something nice to me in the comments. I read all of them. If you have any questions, please also leave those in the comments below. Or if you have a specific embroidery tutorial you'd like me to film and upload, please let me know as well. And if you haven't already, pretty please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it so much. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!